Welcome, Zlurpinas, Zlorpettes, and Zlems to another fabulous interview. Now, tonight we continue our streak of pro-Earth bias with the interview of another human. Human, please introduce yourself and tell our audience what it is you do.
I am Matt Cox. I am a writer, playwright, trying to write a book, and a person who reads things sometimes. Matt Cox.
I'm sure your reading skills are exceptional, and we are very glad to have you. Host Bot, do you want to kick things off with our second question?
Hi, I'm the host bot, Matt Cox. You wrote the hugely successful off-Broadway play, Puffs. How did that come to be?
Well, thank you, host bot. The honor is mine, honestly. Puffs was a play that takes place in a certain magic world that people may be familiar with at a certain wizard school that some kids go to for 7 years. But it's a play that's not about a particular boy wizard who many earthlings may be familiar with who goes there. It is instead the story of some of the other kids called the Puffs, one of the other houses, the not so cool kids at this wizard school. And we had 5 performances scheduled. We had hoped that maybe we would extend for 2 more weeks. And then the show ended up running off Broadway for about 4 more years after that, for almost 1,000 performances, and is now one of the most performed plays in the United States in like high schools and regional theaters, which is insane.
Have you ever seen one of these high school productions? I'm very interested to know.
I saw my own high school do the show in Saxe, Texas, Saxe High School.
I'm sure you showed some of those teachers who had doubts about you a thing or two that day.
I think so. I really hope so. I really hope that they felt something.
Revenge is a dish best served again and again. Now, Matt, I would like to ask you about one of your other shows that I am particularly fascinated with. It is called Kapow-i GoGo. I must tell you, I have a troupe of indentured actors who I make perform the various parts of the saga day after day after day, and I am begging you for more. Tell us, what gave you the idea to make Kapow-i GoGo?
All right, this is my kind of question. Great, and also, I love that. That's awesome. Kapow-i GoGo was a show. It was the first play that I really ever wrote. That was a sort of mashup of like sci-fi, anime, video games, fantasy, all the things that I really liked growing up, but shown as like 3 different sagas of a cartoon, 3 like 30-minute episodes each that would sort of tell this massive story about a girl named Kapow-i GoGo who started as 14-year-old, just wanted to be the world's greatest fighter, and she became that and had to deal with all the consequences that entails.
Wow.
Now, I came up with the idea when I was working at Midtown Comics in Times Square, a big comic book store. I was restocking the manga section and just kind of looking at all the really fun character designs that are in that. And I loved Dragon Ball Z growing up. And so it was just kind of like an opportunity to just put that on the stage, because I as a writer, I do sort of make it my life's mission to try to put as much of like the geeky sci-fi fantasy stuff that I love in a theatrical form, which is just, there's not a ton of. And it was just a big experiment. So it was a 4.5-hour long play, done in parts, then eventually all together as a marathon. And it is my favorite. It's my little baby. I love it to death. And I hope the world gets to see it again one day.
Very, very exciting. You made an interactive show called Guy Choiceman Decides to Save America. What were some of the biggest technical challenges you experienced?
Oh, yeah, quite a few. Yeah, Guy Choiceman Decides to Save America. The Choosical, where you do the chooses, was a show that I had a bunch of filmed components that I would sort of structure and play and narrate over live while the audience controlled a man named Guy Choiceman, and you could do all of his chooses for him. The technical hurdle of just figuring out how to do this, because I didn't want to make actors have to show up and do the show every time, because it was also very complicated. So we just filmed it all. The first time just over Zoom. I recorded Zoom meetings, and then I edited them in Premiere Pro, and then I structured them in a QLab, which is like a theater software run for running lights and sound, and then just played them and ran the votes alongside of it. The biggest hurdle was hitting like 5 different buttons at once and getting used to that. My computer at the time was very angry at me and got very hot, and I would be constantly worried it was going to freeze. But eventually it all worked out.
This is really wonderful.
Now, we come to the part of the interview where we play Zlurp or Zlorp. And away we go. The letter A.
Zlorp.
The letter B.
Zlurp.
The letter C.
Zlurp.
The letter D.
Zlorp.
Anarchic pop punk bands.
Oh, Zlurp.
And now for something different. The letter F.
Oh, Zlorp.
Congratulations, Matt. You won. Yes, give him a hand, audience. An excellent job, Zlurp Zlorp. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you. I felt it.
Our last question is, what is your favorite science fiction movie?
I think it is definitely, I have to pick between the three. Oh no, it's, weirdly, it's Return of the Jedi.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for letting us interview you for Zlurp Zlorp.
Yay, thanks for having me. This was wonderful.